All right, I got to be super real with you right now. Last week's podcast episode, if you watched on YouTube, what the fuck was my hair? So I'm so proud of me for putting that episode out, but also watching it back, I'm like, holy fuck, that's so cringy. But I think this is part of the work that we do. Sometimes it's better to get something out there, like, period, than to have it perfect. And I just need to make a little commentary here. It is currently 10 to 1, and I'm just sitting down to record. I have been spending like the last 3 hours getting my ass ready, making my hair look cute, doing my makeup, tidying. I just don't know. I don't know how people do all the things. Welcome to the Aligned and Magnetic Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Ashley, intuitive business coach certified by the International Coaching Federation, and they call me the money mindset and manifestation queen. I take a spiritual and practical approach that's backed by neuroscience to help you make your vision a reality, but more importantly, doing it in a way that lights you the fuck up. If you're ready to create an aligned, magnetic, and profitable business so you can live a life and do the work you are absolutely in love with, you're in the right place. Get ready to hear the powerful questions and raw lessons that you need to create success your way. Thank you so much for being here. Let's dive in. Before I started recording, I pulled an oracle card from my new oracle deck. This one is by Rebecca Campbell. It's the Healing Waters Oracle deck. It's super beautiful. It's funny because I didn't want to get the other one because everyone fucking has it. And I don't like that. I don't like to be super mainstream. And so when I was looking at oracle decks, this one really stood out to me. And I know the power of water just from my experience in Mexico, having the ocean there, the cenotes. I really learned a lot about the energy of water, the element of water, and what that brings to healing, what that brings to our lives. And even though in Montreal we are surrounded by water, it's literally an island and there's water everywhere, I still felt like, okay, bringing in this element of water would be really good. So anyway, that's besides the point, a little tangent there. But I pulled a card and two popped out. And I'm going to read you one of them because I think it's really pertinent to this episode today, and it speaks beautifully. I asked for guidance to guide the conversation, of course, as always. Okay, the card that popped out, which was actually in reverse. This book doesn't talk about cards in reverse, but typically what a reverse card means is that the energy is yet to be integrated, or it's like there but has to be worked on to bring into your life. At least that's my interpretation. The card that popped out that was in reverse is the planetary wave. And it says, your soul chose to come into this body on this planet at this moment in time. You didn't come here on your own. You are part of a larger soul team. Sometimes it can feel as if it's just you and this thing all alone, but that couldn't be further from the truth. You're one droplet in a vast ocean of consciousness here to flow with life. You're being called to trust the current of your own river and to answer the call deep within. Take off the weight of responsibility that you need to travel this life on your own. Call in the ones who get you. Realize that you are part of a larger team. You are but one thread in this great tapestry of life. Your mission is clear. Keep doing what you're called to do. You'll never know the full impact that your being here on this planet will have and is already having. Keep trusting the call deep within. The more you embrace who you truly are and surrender to and flow with the current you're being called to, the easier it will be for your people to find you. Like two rivers that meet, and remember that they're made of the same things. You're not alone in your calling. And there's just an affirmation that says, I trust my inner calling and play my part in the greater plan. So I love this card. I feel like it really encompasses all of the lessons that I learned in Mexico and that I'm being reminded to bring into this life. I knew that when I moved to Montreal that I would be tested, that I would have to work really hard to bring in the lessons that I learned in Mexico because it's such a Okay, so Montreal is way different than like Toronto and other big cities in the sense that it's a little bit more laid back. Unless you're driving, people are a little bit, they tend to be more like into nature and, chilling. And the people here are just really different. They're travelers. I would say that they are people who are similar to the people that you would find in Mexico. They're a little bit more eccentric. Anyway, so the vibe here is definitely a lot more chill than other really big cities, particularly Toronto. But it's still a lot of people, a lot of movement, a lot of hustle and bustle, and the lifestyle is different, right? All of that to say is I knew I would have to bring my teachings, my lessons, my biggest lessons from Mexico to here. Now, I want to start by saying, like, I did not live my entire life this way. I did not live or grow up learning how to go with the flow. I grew up learning how to set goals and achieve them. I grew up learning how to work hard. I grew up learning how to study and do the work and get the thing that you want, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. But I've noticed that there are two types of people in the world. There are the people who go with the flow of life and they just flow with the wind. And I think that's so beautiful. And then there are people who are really here to hustle and grind it out and achieve big things. And it's more of that boss babe hustle culture. And I've lived in both. So I want to bring the two together for you today and help you see how you can shift things in your business, how you can shift things in your spiritual practice to actually achieve better results in not such a run yourself into the ground kind of way. Because that's been me, right? I've been there. When I first started my business, in fact, I was doing all the things. I was showing up on Facebook. I was posting in groups. I was doing the lives. I was doing this. I was doing that. And I had all of the steps, right? Like I was doing the work, but the results were not there. I was really struggling to see results. And I've shared this story so many times, so it's probably familiar to you by this point, but I would help my peers to break through their limitations, their limiting beliefs, and reach their goals. And I kept thinking, I was so happy for them because I learned that in life, it's not about being jealous. It's not about jealousy. It's not about, oh, she had this, now I can't have that. There is more than enough for everyone. And I think when we feel feelings of jealousy, it's just showing us what we want and maybe don't believe we can have. And so I was always very happy for my peers, always super happy to support them. But it made me question, what am I doing wrong that I can't achieve that goal as well, right? Because I had worked through my limiting beliefs. I was doing the physical action-oriented work to get there. So I want to share with you, now this is going to be over the next couple of episodes. You're going to hear me talking more about this alignment piece, more about the energetics of business, and more about spirituality. I believe that there is 100% practical shit we need to do. There is stuff that we can look at in your visibility strategy. There is stuff we can look at in your messaging. There is stuff we can look at in what exactly you are doing to get clients. There are very practical steps that we can take. And also, what happens when you're doing all the practical steps and shit's still not working out for you? What happens when you are trying so hard and putting so much time and effort in and things are still not really going the way that you want them to go? And so this month, I'm dedicating to really diving deeper into those lessons that I learned in Mexico and in hopes that you can learn something and that you can alchemize that energy of, yes, goal achievement, and also how do we surrender, go with the flow, and trust in our spirit team or trust in the universe, the power of the universe to help us and to co-create that result. I'm all about co-creation. I'm all about your magnetism. And unfortunately, you can't really alchemize these two different ways of being if you're so focused on that hustle, right? Now, we can approach this topic from many different angles. I sometimes talk about this in the sense of talking about masculine and feminine energy, which I know there's, stuff people don't always agree with the masculine and feminine, but it's essentially just two opposite energies. And that is a law of the universe that, opposites attract and there are opposite energies. And so, whatever you want to call it, if it's yin and yang, black and white, whatever, but there are two opposing energies, and we need to learn how to work with them and flow through them in order to, like I said, alchemize that and bring in the results that you really desire in this lifetime without feeling so stressed out. So, if you are a coach, if you're a healer, if you are a service provider, and you know that you're here to make a difference in the world while also doing the work that you love and making money to support the lifestyle that you desire to live, your ultimate desire is to do that work that you love and have that impact in other people's lives. But you have that tendency to maybe stay caught up in your office and grinding it out and looking at your to-do list. Trust me, I'm a Capricorn. I'm very familiar with this vibe. I was literally taught to keep going, keep going. Like, we did not take weekends off as a kid. And secretly, low key, you're doing all these things to make shit happen. But the thing that you actually want to be doing is living your life more, whether that's spending time with your kids, taking them out, skipping school one day, taking them out on an adventure, or skinny dipping on the beach at sunset, or skinny dipping in the lake and just receiving and being in that nice, flowy, I'm going to call it feminine, but that energy of receiving in, that energy of pure bliss and enjoyment. You want more of that in your life. This episode is for you. So today we're going to be talking about tapping into your spirit team and shifting the way that you ask or pray for guidance, okay? So I was introduced to prayer, I would say, through my Nana. I would go and spend my summers with her in this cottage in Quebec. And P.S., I'm living like a couple blocks away from where my grandparents grew up. I had no idea, but I think that's so cool. Okay, we digress. We would lay in bed together at the end of the day, and my Nana would always pray, and she would pray for, she would say the Lord's Prayer, Father, who art in heaven, holy be thy name, blah, 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 blah. And she would thank God for everything that she had, and she would ask for prayers for everyone that she knew or could remember and even encountered in that day. And it's funny because as a kid, I didn't really get this. I didn't really understand why she was doing this. I was, yeah, whatever. And it was, it's funny because I would always be like, okay, now it's time to sleep. And then she would say something else. Oh, and God bless so-and-so. And that would just keep going on until she fell asleep. And so that was like my big intro to prayer. We weren't big religious people growing up. We would go to church here and there, but neither of my parents were like super religious. My dad did dip his toe into more of the Bible and everything as he grew older, and I learned a little bit from him, and we've had really great conversations about it. But I would say in general, my family's pretty open-minded. We don't necessarily believe in like a rule book or like the Bible that was written how many thousands of years ago. Anyway, we're not going to argue about the Bible just right now, but all of that to say is we weren't huge on religion. So religion, though, at that time, because like we're not super spiritual people either. Like I didn't come from necessarily like a spiritual family. It was always like, okay, our spirituality was linked to church, even though we weren't that religious. My experience with spirituality was pray for all the things you want. And I just felt like really disappointed in God. At the time, I didn't even know that the universe, like what that was. But I was always disappointed in God because I felt like he never really answered my prayers. And mind you, at the time, it was stupid shit. Please let this boy ask me out, like stupid stuff. But thank God, God didn't answer all of my prayers because who knows where we would be. But I do remember feeling disappointed. I do remember feeling just doubtful and not really having that faith. So that experience really propelled me into this state of being where, and I think society puts this on us as well, where I had to make everything happen on my own. And if I wanted this outcome, I was responsible for achieving it. And if I wanted to graduate university with honors, I had to do it all on my own, and I had to put the work in, and I had to yada, 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 yada. And while I do believe that we do have to do the work to get the results that we desire, I also believe that there's a large, I would say the majority of people are not tapping into the energetic team, the spirit team, the energy and the essence that we cannot tangibly see, but that is there. The essence that essentially brings us all together, that makes us all connected. I believe that people are not tapping into this enough. And I include myself in this. Even though I have learned these lessons, my propensity is still to go to hustle, right? And then I burn out and then I'm like, oh yeah, Lauren, ask for help. So I worked hard my whole young adult life. I would work 2 jobs sometimes at a time. And I have to tell you, I grew up pretty privileged. I did not struggle that much. Yes, I have traumas and little things here and there. I had to wear ugly clothes to school that I felt so ashamed of wearing. But overall, like we were always provided for. We always had a roof over our heads. And I think the work that I can do now, though, is to really elevate some of the things that I did here because money was certainly a topic of conversation in my household and not in a good way. And I think that has had a really big impact on my relationship to abundance and money. And some of these lessons that I'm going to talk through today have been pivotal lessons in my ability to call in and receive more money in my business. So, when I first started my business, I took this same mentality, this hustle mentality, this get all the things done, do all the things, this strategic sort of essence into my business. And what ended up happening for me is that the strategy, I feel like I went so extreme with it. Oh, everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be, what's the word? Optimized. Everything has to have a reason, and I have to achieve these numbers to get this result, and all of these things, which ended up actually just putting a ton of pressure on me. Now, we know from neuroscience, and we teach this in coaching, but we know from neuroscience that when we feel stressed and under pressure, it activates the part of our brain that wants to keep us safe. So when we are thinking from a place of, I just need to be safe, I need to protect myself, then the possibilities and the other opportunities that are available to us are typically closed off in our minds because we're not thinking from that part of the brain that can explore, can problem solve, can see different paths forward. So when we are in this hyper, I'm going to call it toxic masculinity because that's just what I refer to it as. You can call it whatever you want. But I believe that our world is so out of balance. And this is something that I really understood when I moved to Mexico because so many people are like, all we do is hustle, right? We work out really hard. We have to get all of the things done. We're holding so much stuff. And stuff meaning like tasks to do. We have to do this, we have to do that. And our lives basically just become this like fucking checklist of things that we have to do. And that puts so much mental pressure on myself. Anyway, I don't know about you, but when I get overloaded with tasks to do, I feel heavy. I feel like my head is like spinning. And often energetically, this translates in me just spiraling in circles, acting like a tornado. And I'm not really sure. Of course, I get shit done, but it just feels like really chaotic. And sometimes that's one extreme, but sometimes when I don't feel energized, that to-do list and that stress will just shut me down. I completely, like they call it analysis paralysis, right? Like we just shut down. We can't do anything because we're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode. Analysis paralysis being freeze, like we don't know what to do. So our body shuts down. So I remember when I first started my business, and then I was also learning about manifestation, that I would just pray for $3,000 a month. I would pray and God, please just send me like my next 2 clients. Please just send me $3,000. Please just this, please just that. Just show me how to do it. And I believe that this is a form of prayer. But I want to touch on a couple of things that you can do to tweak your asking, to tweak the way in which you pray and the way in which you work with the universe to get the thing that you want. So something that really changed the game for me was reading the book Ask and It Is Given by Abraham Hicks. That was a really big game changer. Being in Mexico, it really allowed me the space and the time to reflect on my circumstances. I also actually joined a women's circle at that time that really helped me to alchemize all of these different energies. This women's circle is actually the idea that sparked Rise Goddess for me. We grew up in a society that's so cold and closed off, and we really miss out on the wisdom that a lot of us have, deeper wisdom that each of us hold. That is exactly what Rise Goddess provides, a space to learn from one another, a space to support one another, a space to collaborate, to share, and to process for sure, but to learn from other women who have learned valuable lessons and who can reflect their journeys and whatever it is that they're reflecting on and bring that into the space for other women to learn. It's so powerful to hear from other people who are also on a journey of self-awareness, a journey of personal growth, and to hear the connections that they're making in their minds about their life path and what they're learning in the world and how everyone can take those lessons and bring them into their lives. It's so beautiful to have a space where every woman has a gift that they can bring to the table. So anyway, that is what I created Rise Goddess for, because I noticed that this was a really big missing area in the business world and in the Western culture that I believe we really need more of. So I read Abraham Hicks, I joined the women's circle, and then I had to put a lot of my awareness into practice, because we can have awareness and we can have knowledge of things, right? But if we don't actually practice that in reality, we are not integrating the lesson. Having a bunch of knowledge does absolutely nothing for you if you don't have follow through, if you don't have practice. So you might very well be versed in a lot of spiritual concepts. You might know a lot about energetics. You might know a lot about masculine and feminine. You might know a lot about yourself, but if you are not doing anything with that information, then it's not serving you in any way. It's almost as if you didn't know it at all. I want to highlight now the top mistakes that you might be making in your co-creative relationship with God or the universe, and opportunities for you to step more into your power. So the reason that this came up is I was actually on a little mini vacation. So Alexis and I went and ran a Spartan race, my first ever Spartan race in Mont Tremblant here in Quebec. It was beautiful. We stayed at this gorgeous little cottage that I absolutely loved. And being in this city, I'm super sensitive. And I think after being in Mexico for a while, I'm even more sensitive. I'm very sensitive to energy. I can literally feel my heart racing when I come back at night from my walks with my dogs. And this isn't something that I've felt before. It's just pretty much been something that has been happening here. But I find it super interesting. And when we got to this little cottage out in the Laurentides, it was so peaceful. It was like I could connect with myself again. I could feel my power again. I could feel the energy of the universe and of spirit. And I felt connected. I felt one with it. And it was a really beautiful experience to go through that after being in Montreal for a couple months now and just going through that, oh my God, I'm so anxious energy. So what I noticed is that let me just speak from my own experience, because I don't know necessarily how you work with prayer. I noticed for myself that when I'm in a place of desperation, or when I'm in a place of not trusting my path and not trusting myself, that my prayers feel more desperate. My prayers feel more out of like deep need, like, God, I really need this. Please send me, please help me, please. I just, you know what I mean? And kind of like a little bit more whiny, which again, nothing wrong with this, right? I think there is something very beautiful about surrendering to a higher power and being in that place of, Lord, I really don't know, or God or universe, I really don't know what's next for me. I don't know how I'm going to make this work. I really need you, and I really need your guidance. I think that's a really beautiful energy. And I also think that there is such a powerful energy in shifting into this is what I need and this is what I'm going to make happen. And God, angels, universe, spirit, please guide me because this is where I'm headed, right? It's less of asking, like almost like asking for permission to, let's say, make 10K. Oh, please, can I please just make 10K? Then I'll feel better, right? And it's more so like, hey, man, listen, this is what I need. This is what I feel deserving and worthy of. This is what will make me feel safe and secure. This is my next step. Please show me anything in the way of me getting there. Please guide me. Please tell me exactly what I need to do. Show me what I need to do because this is mine and I will get there no matter what. Now, it's funny because as I am saying this, I'm like, I just told them that it's not about hustle and doing it all on your own. This is a very different energy than hustle because we're not saying to ourselves, like, I'm going to get there on my own and I'm going to make this work and I have to do all of this shit to get to XYZ. This is more of, this is what I'm achieving. This is what I say I'm going to make happen. And please guide me. And please show me how. And please whatever. Something that I believe, this is taught pretty universally in manifestation, but the desires that come to us, it is believed that those also come from God, that those are your divine right to have. And so a lot of people, and here's something that really tripped me up, is I would have a desire, but then I would talk myself down from having that thing. Oh, you don't really need that. Or there are other people who could use more of that, right? Or like, just chill. You don't really need that much. You can do, you're doing fine just getting by and just covering your bills. You're fine, don't worry. So this desire mixed with, I would say, maybe limiting beliefs and like old patterns in there. And so it's really important as a next step to filter that out. But let's stay on topic. Asking from a place of desperation, what I would invite you to do is shift into, this is where I'm headed. Show me the fucking way. You know what I mean? So this isn't necessarily about, I'm going to figure out how to do this. And it's not, no one else is going to help me, so I'm going to get there on my own. Like, I'll show you, bitch, kind of energy. It's more of like a declaring of, this is it. Help me get there. So this realization really came to me because I was stretching on the deck one morning and I could feel like all of my senses were just ignited. And I was talking to myself and I was like, God, please help me make consistent 10K months so I can do this more often. That's what happened. I was at the cottage and I was like, oh my God, I need to do this more often. I need this, I need this, I need this. And what's interesting is for me, again, like, I don't know about you, but for me, I will feel into something that I want. Example, being at that cottage. But then I will stress myself out about making the money to manifest being at that cottage. Where what I've learned about manifestation is that there are so many other ways that we can manifest and bring something to life. So that energy of just focusing on, oh, I need to do this, I need to make more money, and blah, 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 that totally shuts off my creativity and puts me into that fight, flight, or freeze mode. Then I get overwhelmed and then I'm like, oh my God, why am I even here? I hate my life, blah, 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 blah. So when we ask from a place of need rather than this is what I'm calling in, it creates very desperate vibes. And when we look at the emotional scale, each emotion has a frequency associated with it. And if you just think about the law of attraction in and of itself, asking from a place of desperation is just going to lead to more desperation. Whereas when we ask from a place of like gratitude, maybe, and look at all of the things that I have, I am so fucking grateful for this. And can I please call in more of this? Let's call in more of this energy, right? This is more of what I desire. This is what I desire to be, and this is what I love. That's going to bring in a way different experience than, oh my God, I need more of this. Please help me. And all of that energy. And my entrepreneurial brain instantly goes into, okay, how can we create more of this? And this is something that my wife is always telling me. But as soon as I identify something that I want, I'm like, okay, how can I make this happen? And thinking of all of the ways, I'm like, okay, maybe I could do this, or maybe I could do this. And what I realized in that moment as I was laying on that deck is I was like, let's just stop and appreciate. Because here's the thing, right? Like whenever we are in this sort of place, like where we really love something that we are in, and then we're trying to strategize and think about how we can have more of that and how we can do more of whatever it is that we're really enjoying at that moment, we are completely taking ourselves out of the present moment and robbing ourselves of the opportunity to manifest more of that thing that we want because we're too busy strategizing about the future, right? So we really want to come back and shift into the present moment and really be grateful for all of the things that we have and all of the things that are available to you. So gratitude is a really commonly known practice in manifestation, and I don't think that a lot of people actually know how to practice gratitude. And I say this just because I didn't know how to practice gratitude. When I first started doing gratitude, it was like a check the boxes situation, and I didn't really see the benefits of it. Then when I moved to Mexico and learned, okay, this is actually what gratitude is, it became more of a really feeling deeply into the expansiveness of the gratitude. So gratitude is a feeling, right? Like, have you ever had an experience where you just felt so freaking happy and so grateful for something, whether somebody gave you something and you were just like, oh my God, I am so grateful, or where, I don't know, maybe you fell in love and you just like were so thankful for that person in your life. Those feelings of gratitude is what we want to emit. And so when we're doing our daily gratitude practices, taking a moment, and if it's becoming like a checklist item for you, I would highly encourage you to shift how you're practicing gratitude, but really taking moments throughout the day or just even in the morning to be present with what you have and to really feel into all of the things. So something that I like to do is I like to go for a walk in the morning, and I like to be grateful for the breeze, grateful for the weather, grateful for the trees, grateful for my surroundings, grateful for my girls, and the list goes on, right? But really taking that moment to sit there and be in that energy is so potent and powerful. And that's going to shift the way that you manifest. Now, I've talked about gratitude in the sense of something you already have. And something that I've learned is that we can be grateful for what we have, but also shift from what we have into the future state as well. So let's say you are launching a new program and you're like, I don't know who's going to sign up for this, blah, 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 blah. And like all of these limiting beliefs are coming up for you, which is fine. That happens. What you can do is, instead of trusting in those limiting beliefs and those doubts, you can actually sit in gratitude with all that you currently do have. So that might look like, hey, I'm like if you don't have any clients yet, I'm super grateful for my Instagram community and for the people who interact with my shit. Did you know that nobody is required to interact with you? We take so much for granted as an entrepreneur because we expect shit to happen as a result of our actions, and that takes the gratitude away from the experience. It becomes entitled, and that energy is not the energy that is going to get you more of what you want. Instead, I urge you to practice being so fucking grateful that people are even interested in what you have to say. That people are responding to you, that people are interacting with you and coming to you for help and support, right? And if you're not there yet, then how can you be grateful for something below that? Maybe that you have found content online that can help you to start your business. If you are at the place of having clients, how can you express gratitude for those people and know that more are coming? And so something that I practice every day is I thank God, the universe, for my clients, and I say their name out loud, and I say, thank you, thank you, thank you for this client. I am so grateful to be able to work with them and to support them on their journey. And this practice just reminds you It shifts your frequency, first of all, but it reminds you of what you already have, which is so helpful because I think so many people are operating in this state of, I need more, I need more, I need more, I need more. And then when does it ever end? It doesn't end, right? Your asks just get bigger and bigger. And so I think learning how to live in the present and be super happy with the present is really important. I share more about this in the Awaken the Goddess Within course. You can access that via the link in the description. I will make sure that is there. The biggest takeaway that I want to leave you with is that what you are asking for is already within you. I think that a lot of people are asking from a place of, I don't yet have this, I need this, and it is not in me. Something beyond me needs to bring it to me. And this is a huge mistake that you might be making. Instead, I want to invite you to shift into your power and your inner knowing that you can make change. I believe that we all have the creator within us. If you believe in God, I believe God is within you. If you believe in spirit, I believe spirit is within you. If you believe in the universe is within you. We have the capacity and the capability to create worlds, to create whatever it is that we want. And I believe that we did come here to master manifestation, to master creation, to master ourselves and living in a world that can be pretty hellish, but creating our reality intentionally despite the setbacks, despite the shit, despite what everyone tells you is impossible or what everyone undermines you about, you know? So remember that you do have the power within you. And whenever you feel kind of passive about your manifestations or like, I need this, but it's not happening. And I don't know, like if you're in that state of doubt and you're in that state of, God, I really just need this thing, but you're kind of like giving away your power there. Remember to shift back into, bitch, you've got this, you fucking got this, and you can do it. And you have the power within you to co-create with the universe, okay? I'll be diving deeper into how you can tap into your power over the next couple of episodes. So make sure you're following along. If you haven't hit that download button, make sure you do that. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, Aligned and Magnetic, or Coach Lauren Ashley. I'm super excited to get into it. If you know that you are in a place where you need to tap back into your power and you want to learn how to leverage your intuition to guide you to the desires that you have, I highly recommend jumping in on my workshop called Own Your Intuition. It comes with mini trainings. They're bite-sized so you can listen and implement, reflect, and it also comes with an entire workbook as well and a meditation to activate your intuition. Click the link in the description and it'll take you to the Own Your Intuition workshop. This is super powerful for anyone who feels like they've kind of lost their sense of power in their business and you're kind of just getting overwhelmed by the to-dos and the strategies and all of that jazz. This is going to help you to reconnect with yourself and to lead your business intuitively and following what lights you up versus feeling stressed out and like you have to push yourself to do all these things that you really don't want to do. So I believe that when we do the actions that are calling us forth and when we take the action that is in alignment with us by trusting in our body and our inner guidance system, those are the actions that are going to have traction. Those are the actions that are right for us. And our body is always leading us in the right direction. That is something that I know, trust, and believe. Our body's always guiding us in the right direction, but most of us aren't listening because we're trying to think our way to success. We're trying to think our way to the strategy that is going to knock your socks off and change the game in your business. Well, it's not always about a strategy. It is often about learning to tune into your body, your inner guidance, and ask the universe for support. Okay. I will see you in the next episode. If you haven't left a review yet, I would love it if you did. Or if there's something that you're taking away from this episode today, I would love to hear it. So please send me a DM or come and join us in our Telegram group. I post new episodes there weekly or whenever the episodes are coming available. And there's a space for you to comment, ask questions, or receive guidance. So I will see you in there, and I'll definitely see you in the next episode. I love you.